Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Um, I wanted to play a game, so I'm going to play some Astroneer and record it. um, the dev blog for this game has teased a major content update coming soon, TM. Um, and I don't know, it's been a little while since I played, so I figured I would just get back into it. So, here we are. Um, I'm probably just gonna this is supposed to be just like a for fun thing, so I'm just gonna play this game, and I guess like if you have never heard of or you've never played this game and like you want to play it, because I do recommend playing this game if you can, if you could pick it up. It is quite fun. Um, so if you are new, I suppose I could probably teach you a few things, do some teaching for you. And yeah, so I'm just gonna be playing this game. I might try my hand at making just like long videos with this because I don't know. This is the kind of game where I can't really like edit it much, to be honest, because there's not like story. Well, there is, but like it's all you'll see what I mean once we get into it. But so yeah, um, I suppose let's just jump into it, and then if they release the update that they like are teasing at within the span time of me playing, then I guess I will get to show you that too. But for now, like glitch walkers is still the like end of the game basically. So, but it should take me a fair long time to get to that. And so let's just get into it. I'm pretty sure it'll right away get us launched in here. You can see my little guy in here. Ooh. Wow, look at that. And we're in. The game knocked over this tree. We spawned in. Alright, here we are. Playing game, yay, yata. So, um, I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I have played a little bit of this game recently, so I like just so that I remember how to play. Um, there was something else I was gonna say. I forget. Let's do a little dance. This is my guy here. So if you are brand new to this game and you want to know what to do, a good thing you could do is just follow this mission log thing here. It'll basically guide you forward in the game. As long as you work towards completing these missions, you'll never get lost on what you should be doing, essentially. As for like the controls and how to play, right here, just like go through this and read this stuff. I have rebound a couple of buttons to my mouse instead because I just find it's a little bit easier. And so yeah, so first thing I guess is that we don't really have an oxygen supply. We do. The game gives you infinite oxygen on the base, even though you don't have the oxygenator set up. But so I guess the first thing we should do is we should probably collect this. It gives us the oxygenator, and we'll set it up. That way, canonically, we have infinite oxygen as long as we're tethered here. It also gives us a small printer, which is good. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yes. And we will get some free tethers here, which is good. So as long as we're tied onto this base here with our little line here, we won't have to worry about oxygen. As soon as we separate, slowly this blue bar on our back will go down, and once that goes to empty, we'll start to take damage, and if we take enough damage, we will die. So the way to keep extending this so that like we can go further than this without losing our tether is you have an item called tethers here, which we got from that mission. And these tethers, you can place them down, and as you can see, it creates a tether, and you can run along this, and suddenly we can go even further without losing our oxygen. And so the idea is that, especially early game here, we're going to be running these tethers all along the planet, all over the place, to extend our reach without losing oxygen. And as for the backpack, the way the backpack works is very simple. You have 10 slots on your backpack. You have 4 here, and then you have 2 on the sides as well. And then you also have your terrain tool, which has 3 slots on it. Well, yeah, it has 3 slots on it. 1 on the top and 2 on the sides. So technically on your backpack you have a total of 13. Technically you can have 14 slots, because down here, this is where like your backpack crafting slot is. Let's say you have your backpack entirely filled up and you have like an extra compound, you can move the resource down here for the crafting recipe and it will temporarily be here. But if you ever switch off of the recipe, it'll, like, you'll lose your slot. It'll make more sense once we get to it. But essentially, like, if you ever want to open your backpack, you just click on it on your back. You can click on your terrain tool here, and then you don't have to open your inventory to put stuff on it either. Like, you can, you have to like open it to take stuff off, but like you can also shift click and it'll automatically put it on your slot. And that's it. You don't need to take your tethers off of your, there's a hotkey for them too, so you can just press, for me it's T. I'm pretty sure default is T for tether, and you automatically place tethers. And then if you want to pick them up again, you could just shift click and they'll go back onto your tethers here. So very simple stuff. It's nice. So let's see, what missions do we have here? Connect to tether. Okay, we can accept this. This will give us a small canister. Okay, so your terrain tool. Boom. This is basically the crux of the game. You have your terrain tool, you left click, and you could dig up literally everything, essentially. You could dig up the earth before you. And we got a small canister as a reward here, so if we open up our terrain tool and put our canister on it, as we dig up the earth, our little canister here will get full of soil, and this is kind of important. We'll get to it in a little bit, but it's important that you basically always have a empty canister on you, on your terrain tool, whenever you're... It doesn't have to be on your terrain tool, you can have it in your backpack too, but it's basically important. It's a good habit to always have an empty soil canister whenever you go to dig up stuff. Collecting soil is pretty important, I would say. So what's next here? Let's see. Okay, so this, it wants us to fill this small canister that we got, which we will do passively, and then it also wants me to gather compound and resin. So, and this glitch walkers mission we won't do for a very, very long time. We basically have to beat the game, and then we can start doing this glitch walker stuff. So right now we just have these top 2 missions to do, which should be easy here. So I see compound here and resin out there, so I guess we will go this way with our tethers. Oh, dang it, I do have to be attached to the base. And so yeah, here's compound. Probably the most important resource early game here, because, which we'll see in a second. As you can see, we only have so many tethers from that mission that we got. I think each pack is 11 tethers? I think, something like that. So you only have so many tethers. Once you run out, you're out of tethers, but we want more, so that's what compound's for, and that's why compound is probably the most important resource early game here, because compound is what you need to make tethers. Now remember when I was talking about how you technically have 14 slots, if you need your 14th slot and you have like the resource to do it, you can. I think you get the idea. So let's dig up the terrain. Let's try and get all the compound we can here. It says we need to gather 4 for the mission, and it'll track it so that we kind of. And there. So we just completed that mission for getting soil too. We might as well go back and accept that because I think. No, it's just bites. That's fine. The retooling here is how we, a boost mod and a drill mod, okay. So let's leave that compound there for now. We'll come back and dig up the rest of that later. For now, I just want to get this resin. So we have more compound here and more resin here, that's good. We have lots of goodies at our start here, which normally whenever you spawn in you should have easy access to at least compound and resin. These 2 resources are basically like the resource you're going to be using all game. Oh, this might be a little itty bitty patch here, we'll see. So a good way to tell like when you're digging up resources whether you need to like stop digging is like, okay, so we hover over here, we see we get this little symbol. That means that there's resin in this general direction. If we hover over here, we don't have the symbol, which means we've dug up all the resin on this side of the resource patch. So yeah, even though we can't see resin, I know that there's some in this general direction because of the icon. And you'll know when your resource is depleted because everywhere you hover, there's no more icon. So that was like a little itty bitty patch. So it's a good thing we have another one just over here. It says we need 4 for the mission, right? Yeah. So let's go all the way back and collect the mission here. So if you are brand new to the game, your character is probably not going to look like this. Let's see if I... Can I do it here? No. If you start the game, you're probably going to look more like this guy here with the same helmet and everything. But the game does have MTX. You don't have to engage with it, thank God. But if you wanted to like make your character look goofy, you can buy skins in the shop and stuff. You can also earn free cosmetics through the events that they host throughout the year. I believe like every Halloween there's an event, every Christmas there's an event, every summer there's an event, etc. I believe, don't quote me on that, I don't play this game enough to really follow the events much, but if you do want to earn some free ones, you can take part in the events. You'll know which one's going on because the Steam like front page will tell you about it. Alright, so we've completed this mission here. Let's accept our rewards here. So we have a medium storage platform. Oh, we have 2 platforms. Okay. This is good. This will get us started on base building. So the way base building works is very simple. You basically are going to be loading up on these platforms all the time. And then you want to, every time you put down a platform like this, you'll want to connect them to the main base with a cable like that. These little things here. And you connect them to their little, you know, you can connect them like this. You have eyes, you can see. And so what this does is that, okay, for example, whoops. Stop doing that. This small printer that we got earlier, the small printer requires power. If you look at the tooltip here, it says print small and medium-sized items from resources, draws 1 use of power while active. So machines in this game require power to function. the base itself, I believe, it says here it produces 1 U per second of power. So this, our starting shelter here, produces power. And it's enough to essentially power the entirety of this small printer right now as it's active. And if we didn't connect, like, okay, if we detach this small printer here, let's queue something up here. Let's, yeah, medium printer, sure. So if I try to print this medium printer, right, it says I need two compound to make it, so let's put 2 on there. Okay, and okay, maybe I should explain the UI a little bit too. So, okay. Sorry, I'm not very good at tutorials. I just want to... So the way that the printers work is you want to come up here. It says press F to examine, so we do that, and it opens up the UI. And to select the thing that you want to print. So let's say you're like, okay, I want to print a medium printer here. You select it by going through the arrows here, and you can see like what you want to, like, okay, let's say you're like, oh, I want to build a medium storage instead. You can, you know, that's how you get to it. And then if you want to print it, you click this button here. But clearly it's not printing, so there's something going on here. Well, let's see. It says it needs compound. It draws from your backpack first, like you can, or not first. It draws from your backpack, so we don't need to like put the compound on here for it to print. As long as you have the resources on you, or it can be docked on here too, then it should print, but it's not. So let's, just for the sake of it. So we know for sure it has the resources it needs to print the printer, but it's not printing. It looks like it wants to, but it's not. Well, as we stated, it needs power to function. So right now our only power source is the shelter here. It says it produces 1 U, so we need to connect it to this thing, and once we do that, boom, it'll start printing. And that's basically how most of the machines work in the entire game, is they have a UI to select like recipes, and then it takes power in order to create whatever it is that they're trying to create. And yeah, all machines, like, you can't put this medium printer on the ground like this and have it like print stuff. It has to be on a station here. The only exception really is the small printer. You can have just out on its own here and connect it like that. I don't like doing that though, unless it's really necessary. So basically every machine needs to be stationed on some kind of platform. And so, yeah, these platforms are a big deal. Right now we only have these little dinky medium platforms, but that's fine. Okay. And so, as you can tell, we started getting resources, and it's like, oh man, you know, I'm afraid that my backpack's gonna get too full. That's what this medium storage is for. We got from the mission. It just provides slots for you to put the resources that you've gathered on, so that you don't need to keep them on your backpack. And you don't technically need to do this either. If you really wanted to, you could just create a resource pile here. These resources, like, they don't despawn or anything. These will be here forever. It's not a good habit to do this though, because the game is glitchy. I have found that sometimes when you load into the game, or like because you can travel to other planets in this game, we'll get to that, it's a little spoiler, but whenever you load into the world here, sometimes the resources, like if they're not docked on a platform, they will just fall through the ground and you'll lose them unless you dig underground to find them. But, you know, that's that's not ideal. So it is a good habit to have all your resources stored on a platform like this, because then you know that they will be here forever, no matter what. And so, yeah, that's essentially the gameplay loop. Is you use your printer to create machines, and the machines create resources that you can use to create other stuff. Kinda, yeah. You dig up resources from the planet, you put them into your machines, you create new stuff. Fairly simple. Fairly simple. It may not sound simple because I'm not good at explaining stuff, but it's fairly simple. So we've done another mission here. Print a medium printer. I just did this on accident, and slot a medium printer on a platform. So I just mistakenly did this, but it was part of a mission, so let's go ahead and... Sometimes you'll do that. You'll just be playing, and sometimes you'll just accidentally complete missions. Which is a-okay. So, our reward is a large platform B. This platform right here is the bread and butter of basically all your platforms for quite a while. You have it unlocked right away at the start of the game, I believe. Yes, you do. In the medium printer here, it takes 3 resin, and you can make large platform B. And this is the premier platform because it has the most amount of slots. Like if you look at large platform A, it takes 1 less resin, but it doesn't have as many like slots. Right, you can see it only has 4. B has 8 slots. It has double the amount of slots while only costing 1 more resin. So basically anytime you need another platform, a good one to come to is just come print a large platform B. Every other platforms in the game is basically worthless. So just a little tip from me to you, like if you're like, man, I need more space to put, you know, my, like, oh, I need to put this printer, small printer on something. I don't want it to just be hanging on the floor here. You know, don't bother with medium platform A, don't bother with any of this. Just come here, print a large platform B. The other platforms, you use them for very, very, very specific things. But otherwise, yeah, this is going to be your bread and butter. Which I might as well print another one since I know I'm going to be using them. Grab 3 of my resin here. And print that there. And that'll probably take a little while. The medium printer takes 2 use of power. The shelter only produces 1, but yet the medium printer is still creating stuff. And that's because you don't need to fully power machines for them to work. However, the printer is, as you can see, taking quite a while to print, but that's fine. If we wanted this to go as fast as possible, we would need to provide it with like the full 2 U's per second of power that it requires, which we don't have at the moment, but we'll get to that. So while that's going, we might as well take a look at our other missions here. Basically, every time you complete a mission, you'll probably be unlocking more missions to do. So every now and then it's good to go down to your active tab and just see what we have here. So earlier I was talking about how you can earn your own cosmetics from events. There's missions for the events in game too. So you'll know if there's an event going on if you have a mission like this, where it has this special icon on the side. Special event, AMP. Activate event via EXO request platform. So I'm probably not going to be doing this for quite a while as well. Mainly because I want a base, like a proper functioning, basically an automatic base setup before I want to do the event, just because it's more efficient to do it that way. And as for this here, lights in the distance, discover a gateway chamber. So this is the main story, quote unquote, of the game, is this special icon here, the triangle. Locate one of the strange structures emitting a pillar of light. Let's see if we have one around here. Right over there. You might barely be able to see this like pillar thing. That's what it's talking about. We won't get into that right now. It's not too important to be doing the main quest line at the moment. You can do this basically whenever, but I'm just going to ignore it for now. I'm going to be doing these like little helpful ones instead. So yes, we have one over there, but it's not important. Another thing you could do, I was just looking around like this to find it, but if you don't see one for whatever reason at your starting area, if you pull up your compass, which I believe default is R, the action wheel, you can see here you have a couple of icons. So our base is denoted by the little house icon, which is on our compass. If you ever get lost, you can pull up your compass and it'll point, like, this will always stay, like, you'll always be able to see this on your compass. So you'll always know a direction to go to get back home. And right now we have two other things. We have this green thing, which I won't get into right now. We'll get into that later. And we have the purple thing, which is this pillar of light. So if you need to find where to find this thing, you can pull up your compass and look for the purple. But yeah, other than that, we're just going to ignore that for now. So let's see what else we have to do here. Print and connect a small generator to power network. Okay. Print and use a research chamber. Print and use a smelting furnace. And aluminum from laterite, okay. And then lastly, the terrain tool stuff. So I kind of want to get this one done, the retooling one, as fast as possible, because it will give us a soil centrifuge. And that's pretty important to have that up and running as soon as possible here, so let me just expand this really quick. And so once you, like, unbox your platforms, you can move them however you want. And a lot of the times you'll find, like, okay, let's, like, oh, I need to connect the power, and for whatever reason you keep accidentally clicking it and moving your platform around even though you already placed it where you want it to go. If you hover over the platform itself, even if there's, like, something on it, if you hover over the platform, you can lock it in place. That way you won't accidentally, like, I'm clicking and I can't pick it up anymore. And so that means, like, in order for this to move again, you have to hover on it and unlock it, and then you can move it around. So if you spend a while being like, okay, I want my base to be, like, really pretty, I want the cables to line up correctly, you know, and then you lock the platform. And then it'll never move again unless you come back and unlock it. So let me move this here. I'm not going to be too worried about how my base looks to start with here. At some point in the game, I'm going to probably move my main setup somewhere else. Like, you can't move this starting shelter, I don't think. You might be able to pack it up. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, at some point I want to change my location for my main base, so this is just going to be a starter base. I'm not going to be too concerned about aesthetics at the moment. Okay, so retooling. Unlock, print, and attach a boost mod to the terrain tool. Unlock, print, and attach a drill mod to the terrain tool. Okay. So as you do these missions here, you can see sometimes they reward you with schematics. As you can see right now, like, you're like, okay, I want to make the boost mod. So you go to your printers here and you look through and you're like, okay, I don't see, you know, my boost mod in here anywhere. Go to medium. Okay, I don't see boost mod in here either. You go to your backpack and you go through and you're like, okay, a small generator, we need that for one of the missions. And you're like, okay, I don't see boost mod anywhere. So how the heck do I get a boost mod? And sometimes if you go through your missions here, you'll be able to see, like, okay, schematic, oh, it says here, soil centrifuge. So sometimes you could get them from the missions too. But if you're stumped, if you're like, okay, I don't see boost mod in any of my printers, I don't see it in the mission log, how do I unlock it? Well, you open your backpack here. I believe there's also maybe a hotkey. Hold on. Is it tab? I don't think it's tab. Hold on. Oh, it is tab. Okay. Yeah, if you press tab, it'll open up this menu. You can also bring up your backpack and hover over the handle on the side here, and that'll open up this menu here. And this is your research menu, quote unquote. At the top, you could see how much bytes you have. These are, like, points that you use to unlock stuff, essentially. So far, we have 1,500 bytes because as we complete these missions here, sometimes the missions reward you with bytes, as you can see here. So that's why we have 1,500. So if you're stumped, you, like, okay, we have established that boost mod isn't anywhere, so let's open up our research here and take a scroll through. There is a lot here, so it might take a while to go through and understand like every item that's in the game that you can make. But essentially, the short and skinny of it is that all the items you can unlock are on the left side here. Anything that is highlighted with this blue color means that you have already unlocked it. Anything that's grayed out means that you haven't unlocked it yet, but you can unlock it. And then anything that's red means that you haven't unlocked it, and you do not have enough bytes to unlock it. So if you want to know what items do, it's also useful to come to this menu here. As you can see, our small printer here, which we have already, obviously. The menu here will tell you like what it requires to make it, and it'll give you a small description. The same description you'd get if you just hovered over the item. So yeah, for now we're just looking for specifically boost mod, and I know what the boost mod is because I've played this game, so I know where to look for it. So if we just go down a little bit here, right here, boost mod. This little section here is for terrain tool stuff, and we see boost mod. So this is part of the mission. It says we need 1 zinc to create it, and we can unlock it with 1,000 bytes, which we do have, but it says it requires 1 zinc. Now, zinc we don't have. Right now, all we have is compound and resin. I know from playing this game that zinc is a resource that we have to mine and then smelt. So, because I know I need to smelt that item, maybe it's prudent for me to do this smelteringly hot mission first, which is unlock and print a smelting furnace and then refine aluminum from laterite. So let's track this mission, because I know I need to do this one. You can track missions by, like, you just go over it, you click the little check mark, and it'll track your missions for you. And that just, all it does is just puts it at the top of the list so that you don't have to like scroll down and keep looking through, because the missions, especially if you ignore them, they do get kind of long. But unlock and print a smelting furnace. So we don't have smelting furnace unlocked, so let's go here. I know it'll come from the medium printer. So okay, these tabs at the top, this tab here means that all the items that you unlock here you create using your backpack printer, which is down here. This tab here, all the items that you unlock in this tab you print from the small printer. All the items you unlock from the third tab is from the medium printer, and all the items you unlock in the fourth tab is from the large printer, which is right here. So I know the smelting furnace needs the medium printer, so I just go to the medium tab here, and it says right here, smelting furnace, I need 1 resin, or 2 resin, 1 compound, and only 2,500 bytes. So let's go ahead and unlock that. I need 2 resin for it. You can see I only have 1, so let's go to our printer here and just queue it up. And let's go grab another resin. So while I'm out here, I might as well grab as much resin as possible. I know I'm going to need a whole bunch of it, so I might as well fill up my entire backpack as much as I can with the resin resource here. Oh, I should probably... I don't have any tethers on me, so since we're here, we might as well just grab this really quick. Oops. Print some tethers. So your backpack also produces a little bit of power, which it uses to create, your power is used in making stuff with the printer. Your terrain tool, I believe, also uses power. Oh yeah, I should probably. I don't know how much power it creates. I believe it's just 1 U of power, and then your terrain uses like half a U of power, I believe. I'll explain this a little bit. Let me see if it has it on here. Oh, it probably doesn't say. Power, no. Well, it probably doesn't say. I'll have to go to the wiki at some point, I guess. But yeah, essentially your backpack itself creates power. However, the backpack you can't use to power your base. It's specifically used to power the stuff that's on your backpack. So it powers your backpack printer, and it also powers your terrain tool. If you have no power while you use the terrain tool, then you won't be able to dig. And the mission with the boost mod, once we unlock the boost mod, if we attach it to our terrain tool, the boost mod will require power in order to operate. So, yeah. And also, this is also a useful tool, the two. As you can see, I went to it. But because you're a brand new player, if you ever want more information, if you want the game to explain stuff to you a little bit better, all you have to do is open the menu with escape and click on the little spaceship icon. And in this Astropedia, you'll get all the information you could ever need. And like it explains the controls here. It explains... Oh, it shows you what the next expansion, or what the previous expansion they released was. Yeah, you get basics here. This basically tells you everything I'm telling you now. This tells you what the planets are in the game and what to expect on those planets. This is all the resources you can collect in the game and how to get them. These are all the quote-unquote enemies in the game and like what to expect from them. This is a really good, useful tool. If you ever get super lost and you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to play and you don't know, like, let's say you're looking for something specific, like let's say, okay, oh, this resource needs iron. How do I get iron? Well, you go to the resource tab. Hematite, which smelts into iron, can be found on Glacio or Novus, which is these planets here. Novus, Glacio. So yeah, if for whatever reason, like you can't really follow what I'm saying, and you want to just like look for a resource that'll tell you tutorials and stuff, this Astropedia is where you want to go. So anyways, back to what I was doing. Sorry, I get sidetracked. The videos probably won't be quite as scatterbrained once I finally get through the beginning stretch here. I'm just trying to cover as much information as possible so that you understand, if you're brand new to the game, how to play, essentially. Because this game can be a little bit daunting when you first play it. Like, it seems like, oh, what the heck do I do? It doesn't tell me. The game doesn't have a tutorial. It doesn't have a tutorial, but if you open your Astropedia, it kind of does have a tutorial here. So, yeah, like, you don't even need to listen to me ramble on. There's also a wiki for this game, which explains stuff in a little bit more detail. The wiki itself is kind of unnecessary. However, like I said earlier, I was trying to figure out how much power your backpack creates. The wiki tells you, the game does not. I believe it's 1 U per second, but it could be something else. It seemed a little bit fast to me, so I don't know if 1 U per second is correct. Okay, so we got another resource here called organic. You get organic, you see these plants on the ground? You dig them up, and you slowly get organic. And once you get enough, you get an organic nugget. So we could stay here for one more resin. There we go. So resin is a really commonly used resource too. Early game, I said compound is used a lot, and it's purely because you're going to be spamming the ever-loving crap out of your tethers. But also some machines take them too. And resin is primarily used to make these platforms here. And trust me, you're going to be making a lot, so it's good to have lots of resin. And obviously, resin's used in machines too, so... Let's go ahead and queue this up. It'll take a while for that to build, because again, we only have 1 U of power, and our medium printer is using 2 at the moment. That's fine. I'm going to keep this organic resource. And what does it take for another medium storage? 2 resin, okay. Probably don't queue that up though, because I'm already using all the power my base has. Okay, actually this, I could show you what happens. If you're using so much power, it splits the power between your machines. So we have two machines going. The base is producing 1 U of power. It'll split it in half. So this machine's getting half a U of power. This machine's getting half a U of power. I do believe that if you split your machines too much, so that you have too many machines going all at once, your base just will stop functioning altogether. You can see here our plugs kind of have this red light flashing. This means that there are too many machines being used and the base is not producing enough power to keep up with it. There's a little bit of yellow on the plug. That kind of shows you, like a visual indicator, how much power your base has compared to how much it needs to fully keep the machines going at full power. It's just kind of a little bit of a visual indicator. So we got our medium storage done here, might as well unpack that there. So yeah, when you first create the medium storage, if you want it to turn into this, like, you know how I could do this, you just have to hover over the storage itself, and then it says here, press F to expand, and it'll flatten it out. You can keep it like this if you want, for whatever reason, but I like to flatten them out so that I get a nice little surface to put my stuff on. So it's not just creating the smelter that we need. We also need to refine aluminum from laterite. So let me grab my other compound here. I'm gonna run over here and grab even more compound. Let me actually take a look over here for a second. Looks like nothing. Oh, it's... wait a minute. No, that's debris. What the heck? It had nothing? That's sad. So yeah, if you want, right now would be a good time to like explore the planet. If you've been trying to follow me like step by step, a good time to explore the planet would be probably right about now. In order to do that, just make sure you have tons of compound on you. As long as you have compound on you, you can create tethers literally whenever you want. So I'm going to try and grab as much as I can right now. We might as well actually go exploring. We might as well. So I'm going to grab as much of this compound as I can. And don't worry about, like, if you're like, oh man, I kind of want to save some compound for, like, you know, as you can see, some of the machines takes compound. Don't worry about that so much. Your starting planet here has compound and resin literally everywhere. So as long as you have tethers, you'll eventually be able to, like, just go out into the plains here. Like, we can see we have more compound literally right here, so... It's okay to dig up the resources, like, don't worry about being like, oh, I want to save some near the base in case of an emergency. That emergency will never come, so... I can get 2 more. Unless this is already dried up. Yeah. Where the heck is it? There it is. Alright. We've gotten it all anyway. That's fine. I'm gonna actually take these tethers back. It's good to reuse tethers as much as you can, because you're gonna need a lot of them anyways, so... I'm just gonna make a pit stop back at the base and offload some, because while you're exploring, you'll want a couple of spaces on your backpack free anyway, so... Let's go ahead and just... How many spaces do I want? Remember, your terrain tool has a couple of spaces too. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let's actually Because again, this secret extra slot that you get. So, as you explore the planet, as you can see, I've already mucked around here a little bit. Sometimes you'll find these, like, wrecks, this little bit of debris. This actually looks like it's kind of functioning. But it is debris because it doesn't have a plug on it. That's kind of sad that there's nothing here. Usually wrecks will have at least one item that's useful on it, but mostly it'll just be debris here. Debris is useless. There is one use for them, but it won't come for a while, so let's just ignore it for now. But okay, here's something good. So we have this wreck here. We have a broken seat. We have this broken, looks like a car, but it has a functioning solar panel on it. So let's snag that solar panel. And now, whenever the sun is out, our base will have extra power. As we've gone over, the base itself is not enough power generation to power the medium printer, but if the solar panel is out and active, it produces an extra 1 U per second. So right now that the sun is out, and the solar panel can actually see the sun, our base has 2 units of power per second being generated. So I will, if I wanted to, I would be able to power this printer at full power right now. And we just got that for free for going out and exploring. You can get a ton of goodies like that. So that's why, like I say, right now is probably a good time to go out and explore at least a little bit. You don't have to go crazy like I might. It seems like we kind of taper off here, so I will grab these and head back in a better direction. But you can get some really good stuff from exploring, so especially early game here, it gives you kind of a nice jump start, because if we didn't go and grab that solar panel, our base would be stuck on 1 U of power. We wouldn't have that extra solar panel. We could get our own eventually, but right now let's oh, by the way, since we're here, remember this green thing on our compass? This right here, this like crate here, is what this green thing is. We we won't need these for a little while, so I'm just gonna ignore it for now. And you know what? Let's head towards this beam of light. Remember that mission said that we have to just go here and see what's going on. So let's. So a good, if you are exploring, you can see what I'm doing here. I have a nice distance with our tethers. If you want to know how far you need to go before you should place down another tether, if you're walking, the moment that your tether line disconnects, drop another tether. Sometimes that happens, you have to go back and move your tether. But that's basically how I do my tethers. So yeah, we have tons of compound out here, which is good. Compound is what I want to see. Resin I want to see lots of too, but not as much. Because eventually you'll be able to create your own resin from basically nothing. It's basically nothing. Ooh, this is really lucky to have so close. So while you're out exploring, sometimes you get points of interest like this here. It's not marked on your compass, but it's a point of interest because it's a large area. It almost looks like a base. Ooh, this is really, really nice for us, actually. A battery, that's awesome. So, like we've established, most of this will be junk. But, as you can see, this platform here has an oxygen tether. So if you're out exploring, this, for whatever reason, this specific platform provides oxygen. But let's just shift through all this debris. Some of it's glitched into each other. We have power cells. Power cells are relatively useless. We have another solar panel. This is why you left a little bit of space on your backpack. Another solar panel. Let's take that. This is really lucky for us. These this specific platform thing is really good because they always spawn with this thing. This thing provides oxygen as well. Not only that, it's a vehicle. So it's perfect for exploring. It means you no longer need to tether yourself in order to keep your oxygen. So this is super lucky. Sometimes these will not be so close to your starting base. Sometimes, like, the only one that you'll have on your planet's on the exact opposite side of your starting base. So I got really lucky here, but you see, I got rewarded for my exploration, so... This is, as I have established, this is unnecessary. It's really nice to have early game here, but it's unnecessary because you could just tether yourself around. You can just keep dropping tethers and grabbing compound as you go. So, we have gotten a battery, which is really nice, 2 more solar panels, 2 sets of power cells. We have this thing, which is a medium wind turbine, which is incredible to have right now. And we have a work light, which... oh, that's kind of fun. Is that everything? And then we also have some malachite, which is copper, and some ceramic, some pre-made ceramic. That's pretty good, actually. So this medium turbine we can't put on our backpack. It takes 2 slots. And like, okay, so our backpack has 2 slots, but the reason why we can't put our turbine on it is because it needs this here. It needs 2 slots that are connected to each other for it to be put on. So, yeah, we can't put it on our backpack. We will have to manually carry this wind turbine back to the base, but I will do that because the medium wind turbine is really good for power generation. It is 5 use of power per second while it's active. So whenever wind blows by, you can see by these little streaks that come across the screen. Whenever wind goes by, the wind turbine is powered on, essentially, at full power. Whenever the wind turbine is spinning, you get 5 U's per second, but the wind is relatively random. Some planets has more wind on it, some planets has less wind on it, so... our starting planet is medium wind, so about, you know, it's medium. It means it's average. It means the wind turbine will be on for an average amount of time. But it is relatively random, all things considered otherwise. I'm just going to take a little shortcut and go over here. So it kind of sucks that you have to manually carry this all the way back to base. Eventually we get vehicles, which you might have been able to tell by this wreck over there. But eventually you get access to vehicles, and vehicles will have enough slots for you to put stuff like this medium wind turbine on. So yeah, if I want to put this turbine down, I can't put it on these because these 2 slots are not connected. But because these 2 slots are connected, or these ones here, I can put the wind turbine there. And now whenever this is powered on, you get 5 U's per second. But, as you can tell, the solar panels and the wind turbines, there'll be times where these are not active at all. So, during those times, you will not have access to the full power. Well, that's what batteries are for. Batteries can store the extra power that you get from the wind and the solar and store them in the battery. And then whenever, you know, they are not generating power, your machines can draw the power from the batteries instead. The small battery here stores 32 U's of power, so 32 seconds worth of power, essentially, and produces 1 U per second. So whenever the battery is being used, it'll take 32 seconds for this battery to drain, and it provides 1 U per second. So even though our solar panels are not active, our wind turbine is not active, our base is technically producing 2 U's per second now, as long as this battery has a charge. And we also have extra solar panels here, which is incredible. Our power cells here also provide temporary power. I believe it's 1 U per second for, what is it, like 10 or 8 seconds or something like that. These kind of suck. I don't use them really. There's one situation where I might use them, but for now I'm not going to attach them to the base because I don't want the base to be drawing power from these. And we might have a use for those later. Okay, so from that place over there, we also got really lucky on getting this ceramic. Usually, you have to find clay in the earth, dig up the clay, and put it in the smelter, and then it'll make ceramic. But because we just straight up got ceramic, let's go to this mission here. You can see the mission that we're tracking, this mission here that we're aiming for, this retooling mission. It says print and attach a drill mod to the train tool. So we go here to the backpack printer. Go here, drill mod 1. This costs 1 ceramic to make. So let's unlock it. And because we just so happen to have a ceramic for free, boom. So the drill mods are pretty important. Right now they're not a big deal, but I'm just going to keep it on me now because so as you can tell, we can dig up the earth here, but eventually if we go deep into the ground, or right now if we go to the mountains, like if we go over to this mountain here, the terrain kind of becomes tougher, if that makes any sense. So if you look at the ground, it's all matte, it's all kind of a solid color. But if you go to the mountain here, you could see that there's like little lines in it. This means that, take the drill mod off, if you dig the ground, pretty easy to dig up. If you try to dig up the mountain, it takes a lot longer to dig through the mountain because it's a different terrain type. But with the drill mod, hold on, I gotta go get oxygen. With the drill mod, even though like it doesn't change how fast we dig the dirt here, it's still the same speed because you don't need a drill mod to dig the regular dirt here. But the drill mod allows you to dig through the tougher terrain like the mountain terrain faster. So I believe now that we have drill mod 1, this digs equally as fast as when we dig the ground here. However, the downside to the drill mod is that it requires 0.25 use of power per second. Which, looks like I figured out how the backpack works. It seems like the backpack itself provides 0.25 use of power. So while this drill mod is active, if I'm not attached to the base here, like let's say, okay, if I try to make tethers, it'll drain my power. And while this drill mod is on, I do not charge my power back. If I turn it off... Oh, that's... Wait. Is that like a glitch or something? That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. I think that's a glitch. That's not supposed to happen. So yeah, I can't regenerate power anymore. However, if I'm attached to a tether, the base will provide power through the tether to my backpack. So even though like I can't charge my backpack anymore, as long as I'm attached to a tether, I'll be fine. Globetrotting. Okay, so yeah, because we got that globe thing and I moved around a little bit, I'm able to get this mission, which gives us some bites, which is good. I needed those, and it also, I believe... Hold on. Oh, maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't. I thought it gave me like an emote, but I might be tripping. So yeah. Anyways. Yeah, now we have this drill mod. I still need this boost mod, which takes zinc, right? That's what we have established. Boost mod. I also need more bytes now. Take zinc. That's fine. So if you ever run out of bites, a good thing to do is, while you're exploring, if you see these shells, this is a good example. If you see these shells here, and this is purely if you want more bites, you can go up to these shells, you can scan them, and you can see we get some extra bites. We just got an extra 70 bites, was that? And so in order to get this unlocked, we need another 180 bites. Those shells you can get extra bites from. There are... Though I haven't seen one, that's kind of weird. Usually they're all over the place. There are some plants that provide stuff that you can scan too. Like if you go to this forest area, these plants here, they have like samples on it you can scan. There are also in the plains, oh, there's these shrubs here that have little research samples on them. And you can just go here to get a couple of bites every now and then. And these do respawn. After a little bit of time, the samples that we scanned here, they will respawn and show back up again. So we're close. Let's hop in our globe here. That way we won't have to be attached to the tether anymore. And I believe we grabbed everything here, right? Yeah, it's just a bunch of debris. And so, yeah, we've made it to this purple thing, which I've totally ignored. And we've gotten that thing here. Discover a gateway chamber is what these are called. There are 6 of them on the surface of... I believe there's 6 on every single planet. There's at least 6 on this planet that you start on. They're all on the surface, and there is a 7th one that is in the middle of the planet. Which we will get to in a while. So I think now that I have the globe, I might as well try and do a little bit more exploring here. Okay. So, we got lucky with our ceramic, but also, if you want to kind of follow me and you didn't get lucky like that, if you see this in the ground, this here is clay. If you dig up this clay and bring it to a smelter and put it in the smelter, that's how you can get ceramic. I don't really need clay at the moment. You do need clay for various other random stuff. But right now I can ignore it. And again, if you ever get lost, you can pull up your compass and you can see that the house is over there. You can also see, if we pull up the compass here and we go far enough away, eventually this purple dot thing for the gateway thing will disappear. I think. Eventually. Man. I'm trying to prove a point. Eventually it'll disappear and you won't see it on the map. Like, for example, you know that green thing that was on there earlier? You can't see it now, and that's because we're far enough away that it goes away. However, the house will always be visible. And I've mentioned that there's 6 of these gateway chambers, but you can only see 1 on the compass. That's because the other 5 are far enough away that you can't see them. Oh, that's kind of unlucky. So we have another medium wind turbine here, which is really good, but I can't carry it back because I'm in the globe. So we will just ignore it for now, that's fine. We have 1 medium wind turbine, that's good enough. And we did snag some power extenders there, which is nice. Power extenders are nice. You know how those platforms back at the base get connected together by cables? Well, sometimes, like, some of your platforms will be far enough away that you can't just easily connect them to the rest of your base. The power extenders allow you to connect the platforms together across a distance. You see these, like, little spike things over here. Actually, we might as well grab some, I think. Ooh, hold on. Dang. Hold on. So, this black looking stuff here, you can find this graphite in these crevices biome. So wherever you see this stuff, that's typically where you'll find this graphite. So let's dig some up here. I only need 1 at the moment, but that's fine. gonna try and leave some exposed so I know it's over here. So I know we were saving up our bytes to get the boost mod, but I'm gonna try and find another sample to scan. I'm gonna unlock what's called the packager and go back towards where that wind turbine was. I think it was over here. If I can't find it, then maybe not, but... it's right here. Okay. This shell should do it. Typically, you don't really kind of want to be researching stuff willy-nilly. If you're brand new to the game, I wouldn't recommend just randomly researching stuff. I recommend following the missions, which you can pull up at any time here using the right handle. You can always see what your missions are. Ooh, we can actually get some bites here. I recommend following this as much as possible. I don't recommend using your bytes to randomly research whatever is available here. But because, like, I kind of know, if you're experienced in the game, then it doesn't really matter. But because I want to show something off, this packager here, 1,000 bytes to research it, which is fine. It takes 1 graphite, which just so happens to be this thing here. And it takes our backpack power to make. Fortunately, we can't charge our backpack because we're not attached to tethers, but that's fine. So now we have this packager. So what do packagers do? Well, if we go to this medium wind turbine, the downside of this turbine right now is that we can't carry it, right? We don't have space on our backpack for it, and, like, you know, we're far enough away from tethers and stuff that we can't just carry it with us. We will run out of oxygen and probably die. However, what you can do, if you just so happen to have a packager on you, attach it to the wind turbine. When you activate this packager, this will turn the medium wind turbine into those, you know, when we print stuff, those boxes that are made? This packager will turn it into a box. And the boxes that are made from the packages are always, they take up 1 size less slots to carry. So the wind turbine usually takes 2 slots that are connected together to carry. But because we used a packager on it, it now easily fits in 1 slot. So now we can take the wind turbine with us. This is useful if you're trying to transport stuff. Like, you know how the smelter... I'll point it out when we get back to the base, but the smelter takes 4 slots that are all connected together in order to be placed down. But let's say, like, you want to transport it across the place. Like, let's say you have a rover and you only have 2 slots that are connected together, and you can't, you know, you can't carry a 4 connected together slot thing. If you use a packager on the smelter, it'll put it in a box that requires 2 slots to carry. And it's the same thing for stuff that's printed from, like, the large printer. Like, let's say you want to carry a whole ass base with you. Usually the base takes, like, you know, you can't even carry a base with you. But you can use a packager on it, and it makes things easier to transport, is what I'm trying to get at. Hopefully that makes sense. We've come across some dynamite here, which is pretty nice to have. Not really a requirement at the moment, but that's... I will take it. It's kind of nice to always have some dynamite on hand. You know that green box that we looked at earlier? You can't open that box with anything except for blowing it up with dynamite. So, you do need dynamite to blow stuff up in this game. But it's not so egregious that you need tons of it all the time. And I'm not going to be blowing up that crate right away with the dynamite either. Just because I don't... A, I don't need it, and B, I can make more use out of the dynamite later. So... I'm probably not going to be exploring too much. Mainly because I don't have power in my backpack anymore. But also because, like, there's no real reason to. You mainly do exploring just to get some goodies every now and then. Oh, that'll recharge my backpack. I don't think I want that, though. it's good to do some exploring to at least get like one of the solar panels at the very least. That way you don't have to research any power, you just will have it. You don't have to spend your research on any of that stuff. You don't have to spend resource on that stuff. Okay, here's something else that's good. Every now and then you'll see these drop pods too, and by these drop pods, usually there'll be a backpack randomly. So this backpack means that there was another astronaut that landed here and died. And they have 3 items here, which is kind of crap. They kind of had a crap backpack. Oh, they have oxygen filters. Guess I could take those. Not that I'm going to use them, but... So they have 3 items here. Usually they have like something you can scan for bites. Kind of stinks that they didn't. These items are basically flavor items. And the floodlight will provide light, like you know that work light we found earlier? It'll provide light, but you don't really need light in the game because your astronaut has some light on it. And then this curious item. Every single backpack you come across will have one of these. These are basically worthless, and I'm not going to use it because it kind of makes... It creates an aesthetic change. It'll like put a crack in the sky, and it's just an aesthetic thing that I don't really fuck with, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to take those items either, because I kind of want the backpack space, because I spotted this thing here. Now, these are pretty good finds to get to, because they equate to having resources. Useful resources. In the main cylinder here, if we look... dig up all this dirt. The main cylinder always has resources like this that are relative to the planet that you're on. Because we're at the starting planet, the resources that are in here are kind of mid. But because we don't really have any resources at all, they're actually kind of nice. Like we have another graphite. We have a packager, which is good. Packagers also fit on your backpack, so you can carry them around with you, which is good. And we have... Ooh, we have 2 jump jets. Ooh, I like that. That's actually really nice find early. So what the jump jets do... I think we've grabbed everything. So typically, in the game, you only have 1 jump. You can jump once and that's it. The jump jets are cool because they increase how high you can go. There's also fall damage, as you can see. The screen got red. That means I took damage. If you jump from really high up, like let's say here, the jump jets can stop you from taking fall damage, which is nice. And we have 2 here, which is good. The solid fuel ones, they provide 50 activations. So every time the flame on it turns on, you lose one of your 50 activations, and once it goes down to 0, it is destroyed and is unusable. And there is no way to recharge the solid fuel ones. But we got 2 here, which is pretty fucking good. The problem is I have no space for it. I don't really need another graphite. I wonder if we hold on to this. No, I do think you need to use the furnace. Oh, I guess I was using my oxygen filters. Okay, I can ditch that now. It's worth it to bring the aluminum. If you got really lucky, we could have maybe... Oh yeah, this thing too. Shit. If you got really lucky, we would have found a zinc in there. That would have been pretty nice, but that's fine. So you remember that backpack earlier? Typically, the backpacks will have one of these things on it. And these research samples early game are good to... I'm trying to think. Hold on. Yeah, whatever. I can make more tethers. Typically, early game, like I can straight up just research them, and it'll give me, I think, somewhere around 200 bytes, which is good. But if you save them and bring them back to the base, we won't make one right now, but later we'll make a research, like machine. If you, oh, by the way, since we passed them, so plants will provide research samples, those shells will provide research samples, and sometimes the rock formations will have these. And typically the rock ones provide more bytes. Anyways, yeah. So these research things, you want to save them early game. Late game probably doesn't matter so much, but early game you want to save them because you'll eventually get a research like machine for the base, and if you put these in it, you'll get more bytes out of it than you would if you just scanned it at the moment. So I can actually go back there and grab the other stuff since it's right there. Okay, so we got dynamite, which I can just put on the ground. Dynamite sticks to things, so by just putting it on the ground here, it'll never fall through the ground. I just have to be careful not to accidentally activate it. We got another wind turbine, which we can open, find more power. We won't really need more power generation past this, so the base will be basically powered forever with just that. Even though these are at the risk of falling through the floor, I'm just going to leave them there because they're not that big of a deal. And another jump jet, which is incredible. I can't believe we got two. That's pretty lucky. We don't have space anymore. This jump jet's basically going to forever be on my backpack now. So I have one less slot permanently, essentially, but that's fine. You know what? Let's make another platform B. You can see these dots on the side here. You can go, if you press up and down, you go up the dots. And if you press left and right, you'll go here. But if you press right like this, it'll also shift through everything, so let's make another platform B. This will give you space. And then medium storage takes another 2. This away, grab. Made extra tethers, but I don't need them right now. Actually, I don't need any of this because I'll be exploring. Yeah, you can see this is going at full power now because, like this, you could tell this is going at full power because the plugs don't have that red thing I was showing earlier. I could probably move the ball, not that it matters. But it's going at full power not only because the windmills are going, but because we have a battery as well. Didn't I put something on the ground? I guess I put it back on, didn't I? Yeah. That's fine. And then let's make another medium storage. And then what does it take for a research? Compound and resin. I could probably do that too. Might as well. Might as well. Since we have something in research now, we might as well do it now. Yay, more storage. Like that. Cool. And now I can even take this off the ground just to be extra careful. So yeah, we have this thing here. Those research samples, like these shells too, you can also pick up off the ground and bring them with you. and put them in this research chamber, but I don't recommend doing it with these shells and like the stuff you get off the plants because you're getting nothing out of it. Because this provides like 200 bytes compared to the 20 that these will give, you'll get more out of it from the research chamber. It's not really worth it to do it with these small sample stuff. There's like a little trick that I'll show later that you can do with the research samples that'll make them. I don't want to explain it because I don't want to spoil it, but later on I'll show you something neat that you can do. It'll basically make the research chamber worthless once we do it. But yeah, so how much? So the research takes 2 user power to work, which means it'll require the battery plus something else. But typically, okay, so on average, these will give like 200 to like 300 bytes. If we put it in the research chamber, this will give us 750 bytes, but it won't do it immediately. It'll give it to us over the course of, a minute or two. 3 minutes here. But I would rather have 750 bytes than 250, considering, it gives you so much more. And the same, it's the same idea if you, brought in a shell, you would probably get somewhere around 75 bytes instead of 25, but we're talking the difference of 50 bytes and 500 bytes, which is, a lot. So early game, it's really nice to save specifically those kind of research samples, the ones that are white and look like the Astroneer made them. So I came back here. The wind kind of blows you around in this ball, doesn't it? Get me back. The cool thing about the ball is that you can pick it up. Let's grab this stuff that I left behind. Might as well. The oxygen filters are useless now because I used them all. I think I am done exploring. I don't want to explore too much, like I said. We basically have everything for the base. There's no reason to do more exploring at the moment. I mean, I could just totally stock up on a ton of, wind turbines and solar panels and stuff. And exploring also allows you to find more of those research pack things. But it's like I have been saying, it's totally unnecessary. You don't need to do that. If you don't like the idea of exploring at all, like you didn't get lucky like me and you don't have a ball and you're just like, man, I don't want to explore because it's going to take forever. And I'm going to be putting down tons of tethers. You can make solar panels yourself. They are in the first thing here, and if you scroll down to here, to this line here, there's small solar. It takes copper, which needs malachite, and the wind turbine, which takes ceramic, which is even easier, which takes the clay that we've been collecting. And you could just make these instead. If you want to know where to find malachite and copper, the mountains. The mountain areas, not the forest, specifically mountain areas will have them. Yeah, but because, actually I don't think I need to smelt that. We got some extra ceramic, which won't be useful right now, will be useful later. Some extra graphite, which also is not useful to us right now. And tethers, okay. So now the next thing I want to do is actually get... I need to collect some more. That's fine. Is we had... Oh, print and use a research chamber. So we had tracked this. I want to get some aluminum. So, let's go get some aluminum. I'm actually going to get one more thing of compound. This is probably where you're going to use the most amount of tethers, is not exploring. It's when you go cave diving like we're about to do. I'm actually going to take a drink of water here. Talking too fucking much. Will this lead to a cave? Probably. Oh yeah. So in the surface of the planet, you'll find holes like this that'll lead down underneath the planet and into the caves. And this is where we're going to start finding our first hazards, they're called. Anything with this red stuff on it means that they're bad. Luckily, the first planet is, like, these dangers are not a big deal. Ooh, I should probably explain how to do this. So, while you have soil in a soil tank, with your terrain tool, not only can you dig stuff, you can also build stuff. You have to have soil in a soil tank to do it, but the whole idea is that you can press Control and you get this minus symbol, or you can press Alt and it'll have this arrow symbol. And the arrow symbol will let you build outwards. Like, it places terrain in the direction that it is. And this, like, minus symbol means that this surface right here, if I hold Control, if I build out, I will build a surface that is exactly flat to the surface that it's held on. So, like, as long as I'm holding left click. If I stop holding and I come over here, it'll change the angle that you build in. If that makes any sense. So this helps you, like, create paths downwards. Here. I should probably pop these. So this is the first enemy right here. It's the most common, like, hazard in the game. It's called pop coral. And basically all it does is that if you dig it up out of the ground, it explodes. That's all it does. So the idea is that you don't want to be digging around while you're standing beside pop coral, because if it explodes, it deals damage to you. These are glitched into each other, so these might not explode. That's kind of annoying. Well, as long as they don't explode. They're the most common type of enemy, and they're also the easiest type of enemy to deal with, luckily for us. And as you can see, when you destroy them, they drop stuff. They drop seeds, which you can replant. When you replant pop coral, it makes more pop coral. There are other dangerous types of plants, but when you replant those dangerous types of plants, they are no longer hostile. They become like a friendly version of that plant. Like, for example, this one. This is the second type of enemy. It's not really that common. It is on this planet, but it's called Hisbane. And when you get close, it creates this gas thing. And if this gas hits you, then you take damage. It doesn't have a very long range, and you're able to uproot it from a distance like this and be safe. So they're not too dangerous. But destroying that Hisbane dropped 2 seeds called mutant Hisbane seeds. And if we replant it, I will actually plant both, why not? It'll take a while to grow, but it'll create a safe version of the Hisbane. You can tell it's safe because it has blue on it instead of red. And whenever you get close to these plants, they will not do anything that damages you. So, and also sometimes when you destroy Hisbane, or destroy these dangerous plants, they'll drop these things. Research samples. They're kind of worthless, as you can tell. They don't give you much, but even like the most dangerous types of plants, they drop research samples too, but even those are like kind of, they don't give you much, considering they're supposed to be dangerous. But I guess every like hostile plant in the game, you can just dig up from a distance outside of their harmful range. So it's, you know, it's not that big of a deal. So, is this just like a random pocket of cave? I'm actually going to plant in there. I think I still need the achievement for planting a pop coral. Man, this cave kind of sucks, doesn't it? That's fine, I guess. I'm going to actually take some of these with me, because I think I need them for something else, so I might as well. Well, this cave is a dead end, so I might as well take my tethers and leave. Like I said, it's good to pick up all the tethers that you leave behind. Eventually, you can get a point into the game where you won't need tethers to keep your oxygen anymore. And once you stop using tethers, like your compound consumption goes way down. And when you don't need tethers anymore, like it's probably a good habit to go back and pick up all the tethers that you've placed on the ground. Apparently, tethers contribute to lag, so if you have like a bad PC, after a while of putting down tethers, eventually it'll start lagging out your game. So that's why it's good that eventually we have a way to not have to use tethers anymore. But for now, they are a must. So I don't want to accept this because I don't want those beacons right now. So that sucked that that cave was a dead end, because now I have to go go back out again. But there is more holes in the ground here, so let's see. I think there is one over here. That one might go deeper. Let's maybe see. I should probably go around the long way then. Oh, there's a cave here too. Let's place one here. This one looks a little bit more promising. So yeah, there's like these plants are totally harmless. I believe even if you touch them, you're totally fine. Yeah. It's only if you dig them out of the ground that they're dangerous. The pop coral on this planet, if you dig them up and you're standing right beside them and there's multiple of them, you will die. But if there's only one of them and you're standing close enough to get damaged, but like, you know, you're not right beside them, you will not die from digging up pop coral. However, on the harder planets, the pop coral will one-shot you if you dig them up and you're standing even in damage range, so... We got another backpack down here. That's kind of nice. A packager, those are always nice to have. Ooh, another canister. That's actually good. Typically, I always have 2 soil canisters on me. It does reduce the amount of slots that you have in your terrain tool. I usually have a drill mod, 2 soil canisters, a jump jet, and my oxygenator, and 2... I won't spoil it, but there's 2 things that generate power on my backpack, so I end up only having 6 available slots late game, but that's fine. Power extenders, I don't think I'll take any of this else. Fireworks. Fireworks are fun. They're another like little aesthetic thing. Let's go over here. This is a carbon wrecked generator. We don't really need carbon at the moment, so I'm not going to pick it up and waste slots. I'm looking for specifically aluminum. If you want to know where to get aluminum, oops, you can open up your Astropedia and go to resources. And laterite is aluminum. It's found on all planets in caves. So when you come down into a cave, like you'll tell that you're in a cave's like area, because hold on, region plains, and then when I go down here, there is sliding in this game, it's fun. When I go down here, as soon as I stop sliding, oh, it should say caves. Why didn't it say caves? There, it says caves. So in this area I should see laterite eventually. Sometimes it's a bit stingy on the placement of the resources, but we have more compound here, which is nice. We also have a way to go deeper, which is also good. Always making tethers, man. base giving me power is nice. Because the drill mod is sucking up. I'm also looking for zinc while I'm down here, actually. If you want to know where to find zinc, you come to your resources tab. And sphalerite. Found on Silva, which is the planet that we're on right now, in the caves. It's also found on DeSolo in the mountains. So, while we're in the caves area here, we're also looking for... We're looking for both aluminum and zinc. We need zinc for the boost mod, and we need aluminum for the mission. Got more compound here. Zinc is a very strange resource. It's used for batteries mostly, I believe. Like that small battery that we got from exploring, you can also make them too, and I believe they take 1 zinc to make. There's more research stuff down here. Yeah, these you can see they provide a little more. They could provide like 40 to 60 bytes when you research the ones that are down in the caves. And so anytime you see like rock formations, usually the research samples that are sticking out of them are better. Not enough to like pick them up and bring to a research lab, but alright. I knew I saw some over here. So this is what aluminum is. This is laterite here. Pretty important resource. It's used in all kinds of shit. It's mostly specifically for like spaceships and vehicles. But I'm going to... This is a really good resource vein. Going to dig up one more. It's actually a really nice spot for aluminum. We have lots here. Perfect. Now I'm going to go back to the base. Ooh, I think I see... And this is what zinc is over here. This like purpley stuff. You see this stuff here? I can actually grab one. This is zinc. It's like spherical and it's purpley. It's all pretty. Kinda got a small patch here, but that's fine. I only need 1 for the mission. Oh, it looks like it goes... We have lots down there. So that's good. That's a good mining trip that we had there. We had a ton of aluminum, which is good, and we got the 1 zinc that we need. We'll need more zinc eventually, but right now I'm not too concerned about it. Well, there's more aluminum over there. So yeah, on the surface of the planet, there are tons of holes all over the place, and some of them will dead end immediately. Some of them will go in and dead end, like we saw the first cave that we tried to go in. But most of them will lead to the caves region of the planet very easily, so you'll basically never spawn, like when you load up a brand new game, you'll never spawn too far away from a way to get down into the caves. Which is good. So now I can go and complete the one thing I've been gunning for a while here. But it'll be super nice. Allow me to start making use of the soil that I've been collecting in my canisters here. So let's go ahead and smelt a aluminum right now. There. Have to turn the smelter on. Aluminum and zinc. And the rest I can save for now. I'm gonna need another one of these. So you can go get more resin. Yeah. Just so I have the space for it. Actually, I'm gonna need a ton more resin. Because I'm gonna need another platform. have space for you right now, bro. Actually, I do. I'm saving up the organic because eventually we'll need lots of it for stuff, but like you don't need to save it like I am. There's a way that you can generate infinite organic in this game. Eventually. Right now we can't really do it, but actually I have the two that I need. But now you get to finally, instead of me yapping, you get to see kind of the crux of this game. You go out, get resource, bring it back to your base, make stuff, and, and go out and get more resources and do that over and over again. But eventually, like, a lot of the stuff that we're doing here can get automated. Like, even the mining in this game can get automated. And you don't even need to carry it manually back to the base either. You can automate a lot of this shit. Which is cool, you know. Okay. Let's just move this here for now so we put the organic away. Yeah, whatever. Let's put all of it here. Who cares? It all needs to get smelted eventually anyway. I'm just gonna go fill up on resin again. Just because I need lots of it. But yeah, early game you probably use more compound than you do resin. But anytime you look to build a base at any point, like eventually you'll want one base on every single planet. Anytime you look to build or expand a base, you're using tons of resin. So resin's probably more useful than compound in the long run. Like you use more of it. But like I said, pretty soon here we'll have access to a way to generate resin from like just a ton of resin from essentially nothing. Yeah, this is a small patch too. Wow, that one resin nugget, sweet. By the way, whenever I say nugget, I refer to these things. Right? This is a resin nugget. This is a compound nugget. It's canonically called that, so. Luckily, there's more here. The surface of this planet has tons of resin everywhere. Every planet has resin and compound on it. I believe right on the surface. So, which is good because resin and compound are like the crux of every base. Without resin and compound, you can't really build a base. So no matter what, every single planet has a way for you to build a base, and every single planet has a way for you to escape it. Some planets have different resources, like you can only get copper on this planet and I think one other planet, but you don't need copper to like build a spaceship. We don't have zinc on, there's only 2 planets that had zinc, as we have seen earlier. But you don't need zinc to escape the planet. You need aluminum, you need compound, and you need resin, I believe. And you need ammonium. Ammonium you need as well, but every planet has ammonium. Actually, we can kind of see that like green shiny stuff way over here. That's ammonium. We don't need it right now because we're not trying to leave the planet, but we will in a little bit. I think I also saw some, like we have some ammonium like right here, right next to our starting area here, which is fine too. So yeah, we need another one of these. And 2 of those, I think. So, we can finally complete this which we were tracking for, oh, a free medium storage, sweet. We take those. And also, we have the zinc we need for the boost mod. Did we unlock the boost mod? I have to check. We did not. Good thing we have the resources for it. Okay, boost mod. Boost mod, I think it increases how fast you dig. So your drill mods allow you to dig through tougher terrain, but it doesn't increase the maximum speed of your digging. The boost mod does increase the maximum speed of your digging. But it costs a ton of power to do that. So I don't really use the boost mod, like, ever. I don't think it's really that necessary. I mean, it probably is good eventually if you're doing a ton of digging. It gets through the terrain faster. But, otherwise, I don't really use it. Wait. Wait, why are these tracked? Sorry, let me untrack these. Oh, I have to attach it. That's kind of lame. Like that. And this is what we were gunning for the whole time. I could take this off now. Put this back on. So this soil centrifuge is probably the most important item in the game, I would say. Like, this thing is incredible. So, you know how we've been going out and gathering all this resin and all this compound and stuff? Well, this soil centrifuge can create compound. It can create resin. It can create organic, which I don't recommend. It can create clay even. It can create quartz. It can create graphite and ammonium, the thing that I said we need to get off the planet. What the soil centrifuge needs to operate is it needs 6 U's of power per second, which we can do as long as, like, our wind turbines and stuff are working. But it also takes the soil we've been collecting. So 2 canisters of soil totally fills the soil centrifuge here. And so for 2 canisters of soil, you can make 8 compound, 8 resin, which is incredible, 8 organic, which again I don't recommend because there's another way you can infinitely generate organic, 6 clay, which I also don't recommend. You don't need a lot of clay in the game, and the stuff that you can find on the surface of Silva is fine. 4 quartz, which could be useful. 2 graphite, which could also be useful, but I don't really recommend it. And 1 ammonium, which ammonium is like the most important resource in the entire game, I would say. Bar, like, maybe iron. Maybe. But ammonium is there. It only makes 1 ammonium for 2 soil canisters, but as you can see, soil is basically infinite. I mean, there is technically a finite number of soil, I guess, but the ability to turn soil into ammonium is insane. So this is like the big one, and the other big one is resin. So from now on, anytime these fill up, I have to remember to come back here and use the soil centrifuge. And I am going to make a bunch of resin, because like I have stated, and as you can probably tell, I need lots of it. This extra resin means I can make another one of these, which means more storage. Although I should probably teehee cancel that so that the soil centrifuge can actually work. Because our wind turbines are not active right now. You can tell that they are active because this thing just sped right up. Okay, I know this is probably annoying to see, But I don't want to accept this because these beacons are a little bit annoying. Well, whatever. I could show you what the beacons do. The beacons do that. They just permanently add a tag to the world. I believe you can, yeah, you can change the color. There's like 8 colors you can use. You can also turn them off, apparently. So that's cool. These beacons are useful, so like, you know that landmark that we came across way over there? Let's say you needed to come back to it for whatever reason, and you didn't have a big fuck-off tether line going there. You could put down a beacon there, and then whenever a beacon's on, they act basically the same as like a house tag. You can see these like from very far away, and they're permanently on your compass as long as they're active, I believe. Yeah, as long as they're active. You can also see your gravity globe. That's kind of funny. Okay, let's make another one of these. Let's make more medium storage too. Since we have access to a ton of resin, we might as well. That way I don't have to keep stuff on the ground here. And yeah. So let's take a peek at other missions here, because we've unlocked quite a few. Tungsten, we will need to go to another planet for that. This is a pretty good resource. The medium generator we will be using a ton of. So this one's pretty important. A QT-RTG is a really good item to get. But we will need to... We're not quite ready for that, so... Research samples. Let's go do that really quick so we can get some free tethers. I do believe that these shells respawn too over time. I hear some ammonium right here. Let's make even another one of these. I need tons of storage, man. Plus a lot of the machines take the 4 slots. Okay. Bunch of tethers, we love to see. Give me those. Sweet. Print an exo research aid unit? An exo research aid unit? What the frick? Unlock. Print an auto arm. Large extended platform, not that big of a deal. Print a tractor. That's probably maybe the next thing we'll do. Sphalerite. I believe... Oh yeah, trains are mostly aluminum though. Yeah, there's trains in the game, by the way. Okay, let's do this generator thing. Getting another battery is a good idea, I think. So the organic that we've been collecting so far, this small generator, you can put an organic on it and it will generate power over time. Even if it's not connected to something, it'll still use it up. Probably not there, put it there. Is that fine? Yeah, it's probably fine. And yeah, it generates, what is it, 1U? 2Us. So if you have a way to infinitely generate organic, which we do, well, we don't have access to it quite yet, but there is a way to do it. And there's a way to like constantly feed these generators organic. You can create basically infinite 2Us of power. There's a better way to do that later on, which we'll get to later on. But But for now... Well, this is our storage. We might as well. I'm still not going to be putting these power things on it, because if I do attach these to the base, it'll use these up just on its own, which is kind of annoying. I don't want that. So with the generator, we get another small battery, which is good. We like batteries. Put these here. Dedicate that there. And keep that there. Once that's used up, I'm probably just going to turn it off, because we have all the power we need elsewhere. Print a tractor. Let's probably do that, I think. Lithium. Oh, that's another thing. We have to go to another planet for lithium. Lithium is important for batteries as well. The like really big, useful batteries you need lithium for. So eventually we'll get into that. So trailer. Let's see. I don't think it's a small printer that uses it. Yeah. Train stuff, ooh. That'll be exciting getting into that. I love the trains in this game. There it is, it is here. And we have aluminum to make that too, so... Tractor. The tractor's awesome, I love the tractor. I'm gonna try and keep my power all sorted out here too, so I don't... Cool tractor. Large printer. Do we really need that right now? I don't think so. Yeah, that's fine. So, the tractor. Boom. We can't drive because it's not powered. I need solar. Might as well. 2 solar and a battery. So I can... Yay! We can drive around. The tractor is... on its own like this is very weird to drive. Actually, it might be... Ooh. Hold on. And because we did that, we get a free trailer. And we get the free schematic. So, the tractor on its own, typically you'd want to create trailers with it, because with trailers... you know, with trailers, you can attach them to the tractor, and now the tractor can haul stuff, right? But I purposely didn't unlock the research for the trailer. Not that I could have, because I only have 55 bytes. But I didn't unlock it because the mission, Moving and Hauling, gives you the schematic for the trailer for free. So that's why I recommend going through and doing these first before researching stuff. Because, you know, you get the schematics. Like, you can look through your research and be like, oh, there's a splitter. Ooh, power extenders. I remember him mentioning power extenders are good for, like, you know, like, let's say I have to put a platform way out here. I can, you know, use the extenders to go out there. Maybe I should research them. Well, no, because the mission here gives you the schematic for them. So anyways, now that we're in the trailer, if we... I believe if I detach this... Oh, maybe they, like, fixed it. Usually I remember the tractor being, like, really hard to control when it's not attached to a trailer. When it is attached to a trailer, it's fine. So, for the tractor, I'm going to need a battery, too. And we can have up to 4 trailers attached to it. So let's go. I believe they also take aluminum. And a compound. Ooh, do we have... We don't. That is okay, I think. I am going to make the other 2 trailers. I need to fully kit out the tractor because they are really good. So you know how earlier we came across that wind turbine that I made a packager for to carry on my backpack. If I had a trailer when I went out there, I would be able to just put the wind turbine on one of these trailers because these have 2 slots that are connected. So that's what vehicles are really good for. They're good for hauling shit around the planet. Long distances. So let's go. Actually, is there still compound over here? Let's check. I need 2 compound to get the other 2 trailers I need. And if you were following me up into this point, but you decided not to go, like, explore for stuff, once we get this trailer set up, you will be able to go explore like I did. It's actually probably better to wait to explore until you get the tractor and trailer, because it's really good for grabbing stuff and bringing it back to the base. So, okay. Here I want to print 2 trailers in a row. If I had just started this will print 1 trailer and then it'll stop. And then I'll have to come back and queue up the second, like I'll have to tell it to print the second one. But if you press this button here and then you start it, essentially as long as this button is pressed in, whenever it is done making whatever it's making, if it has the resources available to make another one, it will right away. And it'll keep doing that infinitely as long as it has the resources to do it. The way you stop it is you come back and you just unclick the button here. And then you can also press the X at any point to cause whatever is being crafted to just immediately stop. So let's grab these. Remember, shift click to instantly pick up stuff. Super nice to know to do that. Don't be annoying. You can also, I believe... No, you can't. Plug that in. And plug that in. Wow. Insanity. Alright, let's just put this here. So I think because I have taken a battery and 2 solar panels for this thing, and you know what, I am also probably going to take a wind turbine. I know it takes up a lot of slot on the, I need another resin. Do I need another resin? Can I steal? I'll steal this for now. Cool thing is you can increase the amount of storage you have on your thing by doing this. And then we'll go out and get some resin. And we're off to the races, and these are a little bit easier to control than a gravity globe too, because the globe, like, you know, the wind can push you around, the elevation of the terrain can fuck you over, whereas this thing, like, you know, because you're using tires, you have grip. The tractor's also really good for going up steep slopes too. You're capable of doing that. Not that I will, it's really easy to get stuck when you drive in the mountains. I'm mostly going to grab some extra resin so I can replace that platform I just stole. Wow, that... So, Bounce Vine is another quote-unquote harmful plant. They're kind of the same as pop coral in that they don't do anything. However, instead of like them damaging you when you uproot them, if you walk into bounce vines, they will launch you into the air. And that's why they're bad, because like if I stood on this one, it'll launch me like this, and if I land down here, I probably will take fall damage and die. I might not die, but it's possible. I actually probably don't want to keep the bounce vine. Bounce vine is one of those seeds where when you replant them, they don't become like a blue version that are not hostile to you anymore, because they specifically only do one thing. And that thing kind of, like, the plant itself doesn't do damage. It's you walking into them and them launching you and you taking fall damage that does damage. It's the same thing with pop coral. Because the plant itself doesn't do damage, and because it's you uprooting it that causes it to do damage, when you replant pop coral or bounce vines, they don't become like a blue version that makes them stop doing what they were doing, if that makes any sense. It's only the plants that are like immediately hostile to the player, like the Hisbane, that have that thing where they, where when you destroy them and replant them, they turn into a blue version that doesn't do anything. And it's kind of good that those bounce vines don't turn into like a non-functioning version either, because you can mess around with their launch capabilities. Like if you run into it with a gravity globe, it'll launch the globe, which is kind of fun. And of course, you won't take fall damage because the globe, like, it doesn't break when you fall with it. So let's make another medium storage. Actually, let's make a couple, and then I'll put these on the platform so that it'll take them right away and make another one. So yeah, I'm gonna go out and explore for, try and get another medium wind turbine, another battery, and a couple more solar panels. I probably might start skipping stuff now. Like, I'll start maybe cutting stuff out of the videos. Like, exploring is relatively boring. And, like, I'll just start making jump cuts to the stuff that's interesting or whatever. Because up until this point, I probably have done very little editing. But this game has a ton of, like, it's meant to be a chill game, you know, where you don't really do a whole lot. You just kind of sit back and make a base. There's nothing immediately dangerous either. Like, there's not like animals that are out to try and kill you. You know, you can't. There's not like some kind of immediate threat that's. It's supposed to be just like a chill, sandboxy base building kind of game, you know? So for the most part, it's supposed to be relatively boring. Well, I shouldn't say boring. It's supposed to be relaxing. But that doesn't really translate well to YouTube stuff, so whenever I do like exploring, or whenever, like, if I have to go on a long mining trip and you already know what I'm doing and everything, like you get the gist of what I'm going to be doing, then I'll start making jump cuts in the videos. But when I come across something like this, you guys get to see it. Wow. So we have another one of these research samples, which is really nice. There is a way to get lots of them without needing to, like, search backpacks for it. Power cells, maybe I put those in my backpack for now, because those might be useful in a little bit. I am gonna maybe start taking these like random bits and bobs with me too. Not these though, because they're worthless. These random like little floodlights and stuff, they're useless. Except for there's one machine that you can get resources from that you can destroy those like floodlights in. And the resources you get out of that machine are quite useful, so we will start collecting them as long as I have space for it. If there's something more important that I should be taking back and I'm full on space, then I'll probably start leaving them behind, but yeah. So like I said, we are looking for maybe another wind turbine, another battery, and a couple more solar panels, and then once I do that, maybe I'll try and show you what the big deal with those purple things are. Well, looks like we come across another wind turbine, which is good. Means that this one's probably a permanent addition to my trailer for at least now. And more power extenders, perfect. I've been getting a couple of them, as you can see. Power extenders are good to have. I mean, We won't be using them for quite a while, but there will come a point where you're like, man, now would be a really good time to have power extenders. And because we're collecting them, we won't need to print any, which is which is nice. So now I'm kind of just looking for like another battery, and honestly, at this point, even more solar panels I probably won't need, but another battery would be nice. Ooh, more power extenders. Look at me, I'm power extender rich. Wow. And if worse comes to shove, if I get like, 10 power extenders or whatever, that machine that I was talking about earlier that could destroy items for resources, I could just chuck them in there eventually too, so. There's that, if I come across one of those purple things, I might be able to show you what those are all about now, I think, with these 2 wind turbines. Assuming a ton of shit, though. Alright, so I'm coming up on one of these purple things here, and hopefully we will get some wind. But the whole point of these is that you're supposed to power them. They have cable plugs here, and you could do that with the trailer, but you need a certain amount of power going into these constantly for a certain amount of time, and without any wind I won't be able to do it here, so maybe we have to wait for some wind. Oh, there's some wind. So yeah, hopefully the wind stays on long enough to power this whole thing. If the wind doesn't stay on, I don't think we'll have enough power generated to this. Like, these bars will go down, and it'll undo all the progress here. So hopefully it stays on just a little longer. Just a little longer. No, it powered off. Yeah, now we don't have enough. Thanks, wind, for fucking me there. But that's just how it goes. If we had like a better way to generate power, we had like a better battery set up here, we would probably be able to do this all at once. If the wind stays on long enough, we will be able to do it too, so maybe I'll wait again to see if we get wind, and I could show you what happens when this gets powered on. So the point is that it might not be a good idea to do this right now. I will try one more time. If it doesn't work, then we'll just move on, but that's kind of the idea of what you're supposed to do with these. It's the point of playing the game, kind of. This is main story stuff. You're supposed to go on these planets and power these things on. The wind didn't last again. I will try one more time because that was pathetic. But every planet has a certain number of these, and you're supposed to power all of them on. And once you power them on, they stay on permanently, so that's nice. You only need to do this once. But that's kind of like, if you want to beat the game, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Alright, let's try one more time here. Hopefully the wind doesn't peter out immediately. Looks like it's strong wind, so hopefully. Come on. Come on, just a little longer. No. 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 Come on. Oh, just barely, dude. Jesus. Yeah, I'm probably not going to keep doing that until I have a better power source. But yeah, now this thing is activated. You could tell because it's all pretty and lit up. But there's this odd stone in the middle that comes out. And you can see, we have this one powered on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the surface, and 1 in the middle. And we're supposed to power all of them on, so... yeah, that's something we won't be doing for a while. Like, I'm talking a long while. But yeah. So for now, I'm just going to keep exploring for some stuff. At least until I get one more battery, I think. If I go for a while and I don't see anything, then I'll probably just return back to base and start working on some other stuff. But this is the point of the game that you're supposed to kind of go exploring. It's been like that since forever too, even back in the earlier stages of the game, where the point of exploring was to try and get like research and stuff. It's not like that anymore, but Ooh, another piece of dynamite. I also came across a third, or like another wind turbine, but I couldn't grab it. If I had a... Actually, I probably could have grabbed it. If I had like a packager on me, I would have been able to grab it, because again, you can package wind turbines down into 1 cubes, and then, you know, I'd be able to put it on the back there, but... Oh well. I probably could have grabbed it, because you can use the front of the trailer as well as a 2 thing. I could have just moved the solar panels to the back here. But I forgot. So there's that. Oh, here's another thing. I might be able to do this too. You see these like white things all over the place. This one, you can see it has a lightning bolt on it. It means it takes power. So the idea is that you come to these. I might be able to do this if there's no wind. The whole idea is that you're supposed to power these. You can see at the bottom here. The lightning bolts ones in particular. You power these, the lid pops open, and this is where you get more research. You get more of these things. Is sort of the idea. Just move shit around here so I can actually take this with me. And yeah. There's other ones that don't have lightning bolts. Is this one? Yeah, like this one over here, this one has a different symbol. It means you need to grab a nugget of this resource and plug it into this thing, and it'll pop the lid off. This one is laterite, so aluminum, which is on this planet. You get an aluminum, you plug it into this slot here, it pops the lid off, you get another research thing. So that's how you're supposed to get a lot, like your early game research. That's sort of the best way to do it at the moment. Eventually... Like, essentially, as soon as I have a way to fly to another planet, I will be able to have a better way to automatically get research without having to do anything for it. But, again, that won't be for quite a while yet, so... there's some graphite over here. I'm actually going to grab some and make a package or two. Just in case I come across another turbine. Because at the end of the day, like, do I need, like, 10 wind turbines? No. I don't technically need 10 wind turbines, no. However, that machine that destroys stuff for other resources, that machine can destroy wind turbines, and it gives you a lot of those resources, so maybe. Maybe it's a good idea. I'll grab one more. I have a feeling I might need one more. And if not, I will need graphite for other stuff at some point anyway. So yeah, having these packages is just nice to have. Whenever you go exploring, I would say bring like maybe 2 packagers with you, unless you know that they're like you're not going to be grabbing anything when you're exploring. But having 2 packagers is nice. There's a small wind turbine over there. Let's see what we have here. Floodlight, another research thing, and more power things. I should take these. I'm pretty sure the lights don't take power. Right? Well, that's on. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take power. But you never really know, I guess. You know what? I will take the power extenders. I will start leaving these power cells behind. Because like I said, I'm not going to be trying to power on those stupid purple things anymore. Because I just don't have like a good setup. I probably could if I was patient enough and I got lucky with the wind, but kind of starting to run out of space here anyway. Might have to take a trip back and then go out exploring again. But we'll see, we'll see. I kind of just want a battery at this point. One battery, and I'll go back to base, I think. And we'll see what this is here, and then I might make a jump cut. So their floodlight, I don't think I have room for that, so I won't take it. But I will take more power gen. Leave the floodlight behind. Boom. Yeah, and I guess the next cut you will see is either I'm back at base or I found a battery. Or maybe both. Okay, everybody. Yeah, so I forgot to unmute myself during this part, and so I have about, I don't know, like 20 minutes of footage with no commentary added to it, which is kind of a shame because I talk about a bunch of stuff here. This also is me looking at this footage like 3 days later, so I have to try and remember what the fuck it was that I was talking about here and try and commentate over it, but from what I can gather, I basically I didn't find another battery while I was out exploring here, and so I just decided to come back to base, and I guess, yeah, I'm going to be sorting through the spoils of my stuff here. I could imagine right now what is on my mind is like research stuff, as well as trying to complete missions. So that's kind of maybe what I'm going to be going towards right now. As you can see, I'm putting the research samples that we got while we were out on the station, and yeah, so mostly just sorting through stuff. I don't know what I should be talking about here to fill in the the space. Oh yeah, these beacons are kind of interesting. Whenever you make a vehicle, you should probably be putting your beacons on your vehicles. That way, like, in case you ever accidentally drive your vehicle into a pit, as I'm showing here, the beacons can help, like, direct you where that vehicle is. So sometimes you fall, like, deep into, like really deep into the ground, and the only way out is to, like, just die and respawn and try and go back and save your stuff. Because even if you fall way deep into a pit, you might not have enough power to dig out, or it's just too much of a hassle to dig out, and you have to come back later with like tethers set up and stuff, so you can actually make your way back down to the stuff. And so the point is if you ever lose your vehicle, you'll be able to see where it is on the map by just having the beacon out. So it's a nice habit to have, especially if you're a new player, to take some of those beacons that you get from the mission and just slap one onto your vehicle and make sure it's turned on as well. So, man, this really is unfortunate. That sucks. I've, just behind the scenes, I've kind of been messing around with using a push to mute button on my OBS because, as you can tell, whenever I do long-term commentary, and especially if I do commentary in the morning when I wake up, my voice is very, like, I clear my throat a lot, and so by having like a push to mute on my OBS, I'll be able to mute myself quietly to clear my throat whenever, and you guys won't be able to get your ears blasted by a bunch of throat clearing sounds. So now I'm just kind of going through stuff that I should be trying to go for. I think I'm starting to talk about chemistry lab and atmospheric condenser. Those are kind of the next step, sort of, kind of, at this point, is to try and get like a chemistry lab or atmospheric condenser or whatever, but I think right now I'm more concerned with just completing these missions, so we have a bunch of rewards here, so I'm going to start accepting a couple of them. This one here is interesting. I talk about the buggy. The buggy is quite useless because by this point we already have a tractor, and the buggy is just a straight up worse tractor because it can't carry anything, and the buggy only has two one slot storage on it, so you could put like a little bit of power on it to charge the buggy as you go out, but otherwise it is useless. It can't carry stuff, and it's not like it goes any faster than the tractor. And so essentially, I'm trying to point out that the gravity globe is even better than the buggy, because the gravity globe is like free, right? It gives you oxygen, it gives you everything, and you don't need to worry about charging it with power or anything. So the buggy is useless. I end up throwing it into a pit to be destroyed later because I don't need it. Um, so yeah, it kind of sucks. The old versions of the game, you would be excited to get the buggy, but because we have the tractor now and because the gravity globe exists and yada yada yada, the buggy is better spent being destroyed. So I spend a little while. It's weird how much more efficient you can talk about stuff when you're not playing a game at the same time. Let's see. Yeah, gonna go through more mission stuff now. I talk about the shredder. The medium shredder is fine. It's a fine item. You can, so the shredder, what that does is that it takes junk that's been lying on the ground. You've been noticing all the debris and stuff. You can pick up the debris, and you can throw it in the shredder, and the shredder will turn items into scrap. And sometimes you can even throw stuff like those power cells that I've been saving and throwing on the ground. I can throw those in the shredder too, and that will get turned into scrap. And scrap is not useful to us right now because we don't have it set up, and I'm pretty sure once I actually do get it all set up in a future episode, I explain how the scrap mechanic works. But right now, the medium shredder is that's what it does. It destroys small items and it makes scrap. The medium shredder is kind of bad. I mean, you can attach it to your tractor, and as you're like traveling around, you can throw junk into the shredder, and then you can, have a way to make scrap on the go. But the medium shredder is kind of bad because it can only destroy small items, like that platform that I walked to earlier. You can't destroy that in the medium shredder because it's too big. So there is a large shredder and an extra large shredder, and both of them are better. The extra large shredder takes a huge slot to put down, like it has to be at the base, and the large shredder, we eventually get access to a bigger vehicle that we can put the large shredder on, and that would be better for traveling around and picking up the loose stuff on the ground and destroying it. So the medium shredder is kind of bad, but for where we are in the game right now, it's fine, I suppose. I don't make use of it too much, and so it's kind of worthless. I think this is me talking about the trade platform, and that's where you use your scrap on. But I end up going more in depth with it later on. So here I'm looking at these unlockables here, because the reward is a QTRTG, and QTRTGs are really useful because it's permanent and free power. As long as you have a QTRTG attached to anything, it's free 1 U power all the time. So, for example, on the tractor, right now we have a battery and some solar panels and stuff. We can get rid of those and just slap a QTRTG on it, and it'll be fully powered, and you don't have to worry about, storing power in a battery or anything. So I'm going for that as soon as possible because the QTRTG is just really, really useful. And that's the research that I'm unlocking for, is so that I can complete that mission. And here I'm remembering to put my soil in the centrifuge. Always, 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 whenever you get back from mining or anything, remember to put your soil in the centrifuge, because, soil can get turned into resin, and that's really, really good, so. So right now we're just waiting for the research to finish in the research chamber there, so that we can get enough bytes to unlock. I think dynamite is the last one that we need to get. And here I'm just kind of mucking around with items while I'm waiting. I'm sure I'm talking about something, but just... Oh man, I'm so mad that I forgot to unmute myself during this part. It makes me sad. But, whatever. This series is kind of like a test series for me, sort of. I want to kind of try my hand at some long form content because I've tried recording other games in the past few years that I've been missing, but every time I do it, I'm like, man, I don't want to edit this down into 30-minute chunks. I kind of wish I could just sit down and play. And so I kind of want to try this long form content because that's kind of what I'm doing here in Astroneer is I'm sitting down and playing for long periods of time. Here I think I'm talking about how to get more research and stuff as those pods. I mean, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but those prism things, the white triangular prism pod things, is a good way to get more research. So here I'm just going through the other missions that we can do. Oh, and I guess that's it. I guess that's it. That's the end of it. Yeah, so anyways, I know there was a couple of cuts in this video, and I think in the future I am going to try and put in even the boring stuff. I've set up this push to mute thing, and whenever I do like long mining trips or whatever, I'm going to leave that in. And so, you guys can just throw this video on as like background sound or whatever, and just listen to the game sounds when that happens. I mention it in the future, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. Um, Let me know what you think, and hopefully, this doesn't become a recurring issue, and I start to remember to use my push to mute properly. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.